Welcome back to another episode of the Hard Hitter Podcast. We got a hockey edition today, joined with some of the hockey crew. We got Braden in the building.
What's poppin'?
And we also have Cody. What's up?
Don't want a period. Don't want to worry about having babies. Be a man.
Okay, just like that, we're going to get into it. We're just going to not too long of an episode. Just talk about a couple things, news around the league, and we'll talk about some bubble playoff teams and whether we think they're going to make it or not. So let's start off with the big news that broke today. No, it's not that big of news, but it's big news for right now since there's no news. The NHL has announced that they're doing, instead of 3 pickings for the lottery, they're going to be 2. So just the top 2 picks are going to be up for the lottery. I think this will help, because a lot of teams maybe tank to try to get those top 3 picks. Maybe that'll help a little bit with tanking. Any thoughts about that from anyone else?
I think it'll definitely help a little bit, but it's not going to.
Yeah, I still think they should.
If anything, it'll make them tank even more to get that.
Yeah, that's fair, but
to try to get into that spot because motherfuckers are going to.
There's only 2 now.
I really think they should reduce missing the playoff. It shouldn't be every team who misses the playoffs has a chance. I think it should just be like the top 10 teams. So if you are on that cusp of making the playoffs and not making the playoffs, you want to make it instead of missing. I think that would help a lot. But yeah, that's the one big news. We also have other big news breaking from Montreal. 3 games are postponed because of some of their players getting COVID. This is the first we've seen of this so far this year. The NHL has actually been pretty good. It looks like it's Joel Armia and Kotkaniemi.
Big names.
So they'll postpone their next 3 games. I mean, Kotkaniemi he's a good young player, and Joel Armia is not that bad. So I don't even know what you're talking about, buddy.
I was saying, like, they're long names. That's what I meant.
You literally meant
not
big
Joel
names.
Armia. Yeah, no, that's not what he meant.
I'm just retarded.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna err on the side that he's just an idiot. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I admitted it, so I'll allow it.
Yeah, you'll admit that you're an idiot.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a thing, son.
So yeah, that's the first thing we've seen of COVID. NHL's been doing a pretty good job of keeping that under control. Do you guys think we're going to see more of this as the year goes on, now that we're past the halfway point?
I don't know.
I thought earlier this season would have been more of an effect than it has now, considering the fact that we're so far into the season.
Yeah, but
it's been so little. I don't really see it being a huge issue now.
Yeah.
Especially with the vaccine and all that, unless you have some like anti-vaccine and get like retardation or something out of it, then we'll probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
You think they're going to start giving those to players eventually to maybe keep them safe? Eventually they'll get them themselves, but it'll be interesting how they do it with Canada and how they do it with America and how they kind of figure that out.
Wait, so they're doing the bubble thing again this year?
I'm not sure. I don't think they do not have plans to do it. I think they're going to open back up because as you see, the NBA is opening up. They're letting some fans in. If they're letting some fans in, they're about as.
But there's also states like Texas,
like Florida. Yeah, Florida.
So, I think eventually, probably playoff time. I'm thinking we'll see.
What? I mean, I feel like there's a pretty solid chance that the final could end up in Florida. There's 2 solid Florida teams that could make it to the end, so.
Yeah, I think we'll see. I think we'll see fans by the end. I think we'll see a more normal playoffs as we come.
Plus, there's one thing that I don't even know what they're doing because I haven't looked into it at all. How are they doing the playoffs this year? What are they making? But the conferences are the same.
So
are they going to do the Central and the West?
I believe it is the Central, yes, and the West, and the North and the East. But so you're taking each team, 4 teams from each division. So the 2 from each division, and so we have winners from each division. and then I believe the winner of the Central Division and the winner of the West Division will play each other, and the winner of the East and the North will play each other, and they'll go and play the Stanley Cup. So I believe that is how semi-normal, a little bit more normal than usual playoffs, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But
so basically, it's going to be
I believe it's the Central.
a pretty easy
16
run
for the laughs.
shitty Canadian division.
Yeah, a terrible ass division. We'll talk about that here in a little bit with our bubble team predictions. But we'll move on probably to the last bit of news around the NHL. You want to talk about this? Ovi, your boy Cody Ovi, hitting his milestone. We'll talk about that. Passing
he's the greatest.
Sixth.
He's the greatest goal scorer of all time. I don't even care what you say. He can
think
raise
he's
the puck
passing
up like Wayne
Gretzky?
Gretzky. This season's going to put a hinder on that. If he picked up his pace up, would have been definitely seemed like a lot more logical thing. But I don't know. He's the best goal scorer of all time, without a doubt. He's the best goal scorer in the hardest era to score goals, which I think says a lot for what he is. If he picks it up next year, I definitely can see him passing Gretzky up and truly becoming the best goal scorer of all time. Hopefully he does, because it'd be nice to see it. And old Wayne has said himself that he's rooting for Ovi to do it too. So
yeah, I think most NHL players are like that. They want to see their records be passed. Most, not all, but most are cheering for the younger guys. But
nah, fuck the Russians.
Definitely. Damn.
What did you say?
What?
I then said fuck the Russians.
Well, he's not wrong.
Cut your heads off.
You ever seen Miracle? Yeah.
I agree with him completely, but Ovi's a different. Ovi's a different case here.
Yeah.
Different animal.
The greatest goal scorer of all time.
Okay. With the little bit of news we have out of the way, we're going to get into our bigger segment of the day, just talking about some bubble teams that are just on the cusp of making the playoffs and which we think are going to make it or not make it. So we'll start in the Central Division. We got Tampa with 50 points, Carolina 45, and Florida with 44. I think they have solidified themselves, barring a crazy circumstance of the top three in their division. I think they can move around, but they have the top three.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think there's four teams to talk about for the playoffs in the Central. You got Chicago right now in fourth with 35 points, Columbus with 33, Nashville with 31, and Dallas with 28. So Chicago right now in the lead for that. They're tied. Same amount of games played as Columbus. They're 2 points ahead of them. Same amount of games played as Nashville, and they're 4 points ahead. And, of course, Dallas only 29 games played, so they could pick it up and pass all of those teams with their 4 games in hand, but they only have 28 points. Who do you think's grabbing that fourth spot?
I think the Blackhawks can maintain that if they play at a pace that they were a little bit, like probably about a month ago. I think if they haven't been playing great as of recently, I think they had a 4 or 5 game losing streak. So, yeah.
Cody?
I honestly have to agree. I feel like the Hawks can keep it alive and keep her going.
Just
but
3-6-1 in the last. They did win tonight, but 3-6-1 in their last 10.
Yeah, they just got to pick it up a little bit more than they have been recently. And if they do that, I feel like there's a solid chance that we can keep the playoff dream alive and keep her going into the future.
Yeah. I think Chicago, I think they've been playing better than Columbus all year. I don't think Columbus has been playing very well. I don't think Nashville's been playing very well. So the only team I think that could threaten them is Dallas with all those games at hand. It's just going to be a problem for them. It's going to be a lot of games in a short amount of time for them, so it's going to be a bit of a problem. They're going to have to go on a good run there. So I think Dallas could definitely give them a run for their money and catch them, but you never know. A lot of games left, still only halfway through the season.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the Eastern Division. Eastern Division, you got New York in first with 46, Washington with 44 in second, Pittsburgh with 40 in third, Boston with 36 in fourth, Philly with 34 in fifth, New York 32 in sixth, and in seventh you could throw a shout out there for New Jersey with 28 points. But I think it is really between these top 6 teams right there. I think they can move around. I think New York has gave themselves a good lead with those 46 and Washington with those 44. But I think 3 through about 6, 5 or 6 is going to be up for grabs. I think Pittsburgh could drop all the way out. I think Philly could go all the way up. You never know. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's a lot more open than the other ones, the other divisions.
I think we can agree this is the best division. It's very, very competitive, the division. Other than Buffalo.
What? You really?
Buffalo has 16 points.
And I'm kidding, Joey. I know, they're the worst team in the league.
We never know.
Yeah, they can make a comeback.
Hey,
they got Taylor Hall. They have Taylor Hall and Jack Eichel. They can come back.
9-1.
They may have 16 points, but they have been trying their hardest.
They have a 14-game losing streak.
Yep.
Jesus.
14-game losing streak.
So, Cody, who do you think's going to end up in those playoff spots?
Can you list them off to me again? I mean,
they're on the screen.
I've got a feeling that the Isles are going to keep her going.
Mm-hmm.
Cruise on into the playoffs. The Caps won't fall off either. The Bruins could make a run. They're a pretty lethal team. So I think it's going to be a pretty solid race between Boston and the Berg for third. And then, depending on that, Philly could make a run and get something going there. But that's going to be hard fought. I think the other teams, the other 3 at the bottom.
I mean, the Rangers aren't too far behind.
The Rangers could catch, but they would have to go on a good run. That's what
Yeah, they'd have to get on quite a little bit more run.
They got a 2-game winning
streak. They're not as lethal as Boston is.
Yeah, I think Washington, New York, and Boston are your top 3 for that division. If you look at point percentage, that is the top 3. Just obviously Boston's only played 28 games.
Exactly.
So I think that's your top 3: Washington, New York, Boston, and I think
then they can very quickly pass Pittsburgh.
I think it's battle for 4th between the Pennsylvania teams. I think.
Yeah.
I think New York maybe can make a run, but I'd say battle for the 4th seed between.
You never know.
Pennsylvania.
Mika can always just pop off.
Yes.
It's a battle for who's going to win the 5th worst state in the U.S.
And there goes our Pennsylvania following.
What's the ratio? Like 1 out of 26?
You should leave your state.
Should have picked a better state. I mean, it gets worse.
Hey, they got Scranton.
So, like I said, it can get worse. It is 5th, so they're not the worst.
It could get worse.
Yeah, they could be number 1, but they're not.
Could be like Delaware.
No, Delaware's on that list. Number 1.
But Delaware's like safe.
Number 1's Missouri.
The worst state?
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's worse than Kansas?
100%.
Kansas. Is that like a Kansasian accent?
It's a fucking shithole.
Let's go to the West now. The Western Division. Number 1, we got Vegas with 45 points. Number 2, Colorado with 42. Number 3, Minnesota with 39. Number 4, St. Louis with 32. Number 5, Los Angeles with 30. St. Louis had 37. Los Angeles had 32. Arizona with 31. San Jose 28. Anaheim 24. So you got Vegas, Colorado, Minnesota, St. Louis, and I think Los Angeles are the teams who are vying for. Although Arizona's not that far behind, I don't think Arizona's been playing well enough to deserve that shout being there. So who do y'all think are the top 4 in that team or that division? Sorry.
Obviously,
top three.
top two obviously are definitely the Golden Knights and the Avalanche, and the Wild have been playing really good lately. So those three are, I think, pretty solidified. I could see the Kings going on a run and passing the Blues.
Go ahead, Cody.
I mean, I kind of agree with what he's saying. There's a chance the Kings got a little bit of a gap to cover.
Oh, yeah.
I feel it's more likely that the Blues can swap with the Wild. I mean, they have more games played, but if the Wild collapse a little bit or have a little bit of a stutter, the Blues could pass them in the standings. We'll have to wait and see on that one, how she goes.
Yeah, I think I like the way Minnesota's been playing. As of late, St. Louis has looked a little shaky, but so has LA. So I would, right now, I would say those top three teams are pretty solidified with Vegas as the clear number one. But I think if LA gets it back on track like they were earlier in the season, they could play very well. So I would say, yeah, it's between St. Louis and LA. And right now, I'd have to give it to LA just because of the way St. Louis has been playing as of late.
Well, and Jordan Bennington has not been playing very great.
No, not at all.
I mean, they have the third worst goals against percentage in this division.
Yeah, but that you can also chalk that up. They have a very offensive-minded defensive group out there with Justin Falk, Charlie McAvoy. Who else is on that? Colton Parayko is not minded, but although he's been out for a while. But yeah, it's a very offensive, defensive core over there in St. Louis. So I think that could be contributing.
Well, and I don't think you can compete with the Knights' goaltending duo. I mean, Lerner's been out, hasn't he? So with both of them, they're the best, I'd say, goaltending team in the league.
I'd have to agree with that one. That's one hell of a tandem right there they got. Tindy.
That is one hell of a tandem.
One hell of a Tindy tandem they got going over there.
Tindy tandem.
That's what we like to call a Tindy tandem. Alrighty. Move on to the final division.
Oh, Canada.
The Northern Division. You got in first Toronto with 42 points. Second, you got Edmonton with 42 points as well. Winnipeg in third with 40. Montreal in fourth with 37. Vancouver in fifth with 35. And Calgary with third and sixth with 33rd. And Ottawa with 25 and 7th. So I think those top three teams have solidified themselves as the teams of the North. But I think that fourth spot is up for grabs. As of late, the Montreal Canadiens have not been playing well. So, who do you guys think is going to grab up that fourth spot, or is Montreal retaining it?
The Canucks have been playing really good lately.
Yep, they're 7-2-1 in last
The Canucks have been playing very good. The one thing that I think could save the Canadiens is the fact that they still have the lead and they're 5 games less played than the Canucks. And assuming they come back from their postponed COVID games in a good spot, they could honestly surpass the Jets. I mean, they're at 3 points behind. With one less played game, there's a chance that they could overtake that one and get her going, but we'll have to wait and see, honestly. This is, no matter what Ottawa's out of it, though, unfortunately. Sucks to be a Sens fan.
Matt Murray, we are the number one hating Matt Murray podcast. I would like to share a meme. Our fellow podcastian sent me, Alex Erdl sent me a meme saying Matt Murray must practice dodgeball a lot because he doesn't know how to save the puck, and I thought it was very accurate. I would just like to throw that out there.
Well, that was really funny, Joey. I'm really glad you shared that.
An elite dodgeball player.
It's really funny.
We had to throw that out there because we are the number one Matt Murray.
Hello?
In the podcast world.
Oh.
Alrighty. So I'm going to say I don't think Montreal holds the spot for fourth. I think they've been playing too shitty as of late. So I don't know who I'd pick between Vancouver and Calgary. I think Vancouver just went on a good run. I think they'll cool off. So I would have to say Calgary might take their spot. They're ways behind, but if there's a team who can pick it up, they have enough talent to do it. I just think Montreal had just such a good start. And that gave them such a lead. But I think none of those three teams are going to be touchable. But it wouldn't surprise me if Montreal stays, though. There's always the Carey Price run at the end of the year you have to account for.
Man,
Carey Price effect.
I'd also like to add the Leafs really fell off. Like, they had a really big lead on everybody in this division, and the Oilers have caught up.
They got their butts kicked by Winnipeg. That's why I think Winnipeg can pass both those teams. Winnipeg has been playing very well.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Oilers. I can see them passing the Maple Leafs. They're 7-3-0 in the last 10 games. Yeah. So
they've been playing kind of some shitty teams though. They've been playing Ottawa and
the frozen tundra of Winnipeg.
But yeah. Alrighty. So that's gonna end it off for that segment. Cody, would you like to give us an ECHL wrap up? Do you have it ready, or is it not ready? Me and Braden can bullshit talk while you get it ready.
Oh yeah, we got the ECHL wrap up, the extremely cool hockey league. I'm gonna give you guys the team standings as of right now.
Yeah.
Do you want me to pull it up for you? Or? Here we go.
Tell us.
Place. Actually, I'm going to ignore that team because, once again, the ECHL is kind of fucking with their website. For some reason, it decided to show Kalamazoo as one of the top teams, even though they only played 17 games. In first place, we have the Florida Everglades, 27-9-0. 2 because they have overtime losses and shootout losses separate. They got 56 points. They are 5 points ahead of the second place point team, your Wichita Thunder.
Who's Wichita Thunder?
Which everyone's Wichita Thunder. The best team
from the great state of Kansas,
the league,
full of cornfields and plateaus.
But so yeah, these teams are just rolling along. They're about halfway through their season, a little bit over halfway. They still have a little ways to go. This season is actually going to be going on to the very beginning of June, the regular season.
Stupid.
Yeah, so it's a hell of a fucking thing. I'll tell you right now, I'm so excited to wear a suit in the middle of summer.
That's gonna be shitty. Holy crap! Didn't even think about that. So
still leading the league. Still leading the league in points.
How's our good buddy doing?
Oh, Jay Dickey?
How's Jay Dickey?
Jay Dickman is
Dickmeister.
up there in points.
Imagine he watches the podcast.
Legend, bro.
I'm pretty sure
we would love to have you on, Dickmeister. Can we call him the Dickmeister?
He's the fourth leading scorer Wichita Thunder right now. In 38 games, he has 20 points. No way, I said that wrong.
Monster. We knew that, though.
In 30 games, he has 26 points.
Look
He's
at
been
that
lining up.
face.
He's doing pretty good.
Look at that.
I like to make a highlight to Wichita Thunder player assistant coach Stephane Fournier. Fun fact of the day: this man, Stephane Fournier, was teammates with Nathan McKinnon and Jonathan Drouin in Halifax when they won the Memorial Cup.
Fact. Now that
is a fun fact.
Fun fact we needed to know.
Top of it all, he was their captain of the team.
Imagine.
Now he's an ECHL player, and his teammates are
shitty
NHL superstars.
Wow, we needed that. Thank you.
You're welcome. That is actually a fun fact, though, because
that might be the funnest fact I've heard all day.
Hey, do you know what's a fun name on the Thunder? Zach.
Oh, it's a better name. Go to our goaltending. There you go.
I got this. Alex
Sakelaropoulos. That's easy.
I get it right, bro?
Yeah. It's not a very hard name to pronounce when you actually know how to say it. Just looks extremely
Sakelaropoulos.
long.
Evan Winiger.
Evan Winiger is our number one in net. And our boy,
No, he's not.
Anthony Beauregard, is still leading the league in points. 42 points
Anthony.
in
Anthony. Anthony should
38
build like
games.
that, bro. He just built like that, bro.
He's Braden's height, too.
Oh my gosh, he is. Actually, I'm actually an inch taller than him. So.
What a bitch.
And he only weighs 10 more pounds than me. So.
Cody can still beat him up.
Yeah.
I can still be Braden up for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, Ben, that's
As a quick ECHL update.
I guess we'll end the podcast.
Joe, you keep cutting out.
CHL update. Fuck you.
So we're going to go ahead and end the podcast tonight, guys. Thanks for listening in. We'll see you guys next week for another Hard Hitter Hockey edition.
Okay, thank you. For
next week, we should have our other anchor in Alex
the better
Arnold
one.
here.
Braden.
Actually, I don't know which.
Whoa.
Whatever, Alex. We have multiple Alex. We have a producer back too, so it'll be a better week. So we'll see you then.
I
Until
feel
then,
like I did a fair job
Jay
of
Dickman is the
producing.
best rookie in the ECHL.